The exercises that really improve your playing often also develop other things. And this is something that you can take advantage of so that when you're practicing and improving your technique, you make sure to learn something about fretboard overview, music theory or rhythms. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 exercises that I really learned a lot from that are really combining several different things when you're working on them. My name is Jens Larsen, learn jazz, make music. Some of these exercises are made so that you can include them in your daily practice routine and in that way develop your technique, but others are actually more exploring things, and you'll find that you don't even have to do those on a regular basis. Just going through those once or twice will already start to open up new ways of looking at the fretboard and thinking about chords and progressions. This first exercise is combining 2 things that you definitely want to have in your playing: alternate picking and learning the diatonic chords of any scale that you want to use in your solos. Alternate picking is essentially the picking strategy that you use to solve any problem if you don't have a special solution already. And knowing the diatonic chords is really just the basic foundation of understanding the harmony in any scale that you want to use, the arpeggios that are available, and also how to analyze a song that's using that scale. When I'm working on my alternate picking, I found that it really helps to play a lot of one note per string things, because that's very difficult with alternate picking, but that also makes you a lot more free once you start improvising. And this is really inspired by a lot of bluegrass playing, because they are amazing alternate pickers. If you check out people like Molly Tuttle or Andy Wood, then you really hear people with amazing alternate picking chops, and they're doing a lot of one note per string things to develop that. A next level version of this exercise could be to just take a different scale and then not start on the root, but just start somewhere in the middle and still have the overview to play along the neck. So if we took E flat major, then the lowest note that we have available is a B flat, and that means that the lowest chord that we have is B flat 7, and we get this exercise. But of course, it's also really useful to check out some of the other scales that you need when you're improvising. For instance, E harmonic minor. Here we have a lowest note that's B, and then this exercise. This exercise is great for knowing the diatonic triads in a scale, but it's also a really useful way to develop a picking strategy that works extremely well for 3-note arpeggios, something that you'll have to use all the time if you want to play jazz solos. So the way this works is that I'm playing first a downstroke and then 2 upstrokes. So it's an application of economy picking, but it's very efficient, and you also get that natural accent to the first note in the 3-note group, which makes it really easy to use this when you have to play fast and still want to play some musical phrases. This is something that I use for a lot of different types of structures, like the triads in this exercise, but also chordal arpeggios or shell voicings like this. This exercise on the middle string set with the diatonic triads of a C major scale would be something like this. And of course, you can also make it a little bit more difficult by taking a scale that you're maybe less familiar with. So if we try the same exercise, but then using a G melodic minor scale. This is helping you explore the diatonic triads, of course, and for the rest you just want to focus on staying in time and having an even rhythm throughout the exercise. Working with limitations and chord voicings has been something that I've used a lot when I wanted to really make sure that I could find the chords that I needed wherever I was, and also use the different things that I was practicing, like for instance drop 2 voicings. So a good exercise like this could be to take just an area of the neck and then a basic progression. You can do a whole song, but for this it makes more sense to maybe just do a turnaround and then move that around in a few different keys. So for this I'm going to take a turnaround in C major and then play it with drop 2 voicings here, then try to move it to F major and to B flat major, and so on and so forth. And working on this exercise where you're using a common progression, you're really helping to connect the different chords that you need to use together and finding them, and you're also sort of forcing yourself to use ones that are maybe different from what you're normally using, because you're in that limitation of just staying within one area of the neck. The first two exercises in this video were both working on moving a diatonic structure up the neck, and the focus was really on having the visualization of each of those structures, but not so much on the scale that those diatonic structures were found in. And actually it makes a lot of sense to really work on your fretboard overview, where you're starting with just having the complete overview of the scale or the different positions, whatever you're thinking, and then move a diatonic structure up the neck that is not something that you already know. So a good example of this could be taking a C major scale and then move quartal arpeggios on the middle string set, something like this. Here I'm really focusing more on just having the overview of the scale and then moving the structure note for note up to the next part of the scale, and that way really working on just seeing that scale on the neck. But of course I'm learning the quartal arpeggios at the same time. If you checked out some of my other videos, then you probably know that I really like to work on things where you're taking exercises onto real songs. If you're applying things to the music that you're playing, it's getting into your playing a lot faster and you're developing and improving a lot faster. So that's also what I'm doing in this fifth exercise. So here it's about really checking out one position of the neck. You choose one position, you choose a song, and then you want to work on how to play that song, give yourself some new material, and really also have a solid overview of that one position. So the concept here is to take, in this case I'm just going to take the beginning of Stella by Starlight, because that's a colorful song with a lot of different chords. For each chord I'm going to play one arpeggio. I'm going to find that in this position. Of course it's moving around because there are a lot of different scales involved, but still we're just exploring this position. I'm going to take the arpeggio from the third, because that's just going to really challenge the way that I know the chords a little bit more, and also it's maybe going to give me some new material for solos. So for the E half diminished, that means that I have the G as a third, and then we have a G minor 7 in that scale. The A7, so that's an A7 flat 9, the third is C sharp, and then we have a C sharp diminished. For the C minor 7, that's in B flat, so we have an E flat major 7. For the F7, we have an A half diminished. For the F minor 7, we have an A flat major 7. For the B flat 7, D half diminished. For the E flat major 7, G minor 7. For the A flat 7, I have a C half diminished. You can see how I'm just working with thinking about what chord is there, what is the third, and what is the arpeggio found on that. So I'm really working on some stuff here that is sort of forcing me to think a lot. Right now I'm doing it rubato. You could do this in time. That doesn't really matter too much. I think it's as much about just exploring what is there and then trying to see if you can use that when you're playing. As guitar players, we probably already know pentatonic scales, but pentatonic scales are actually really useful and also a very specific sound that you can use in your jazz solos. And if you want to see how you can use that on some different chords and also how you can develop that specific sound, then check out this video.